the Balls Podcast
with Mark Davis, Kriska Meinhardt, Luke Rule, Jake Winnikine, Alan Tomasella, and Nick the Doc Skirkle.
That's right. This is All About the Balls podcast. It is Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. A very cold, still late July everywhere, even in Florida, Jake. I don't know if you saw it, man. Pensacola got 8 to 10 inches of snow in Pensacola, Florida, man. Very crazy out there in the Panhandle, man. And not just a crazy time because of the weather, Jake. We're almost done with the NFL season, man. We are literally 3 nights away from 2 of the final 3 games. Obviously, the Super Bowl is the final game, but 2 games this weekend, NFC, AFC championship games. In my opinion, 2 pretty good games, if you ask me. I mean, we're going to start off with the Eagles and Commanders in Philly. It's the rubber match, and obviously, each team won at home. It is in Philly. Hopefully the mayor can spell Eagles by the time the game rolls around this Sunday. It's not very hard, in my opinion, to spell the word Eagles, especially it's the bird of the United States of America. It's literally our fucking bird. And then, of course, Sunday night, Jake, the 4th time in the playoffs, the Bills, the Chiefs, under the Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen rivalry and era. So, Jake, how are you doing, man, coming in here? Like I said, 3 nights away. How are you going in here 3 nights away from 2 amazing games, hopefully?
But I'm excited, but at the same time, not. Like you said, like the season's almost over, man. I hate the off season. But I'm really looking forward to this weekend. We got some good games. Let's get it going.
Off season. There's only a couple things we look forward to in the off season. That it literally is free agency for the week. NFL usually drags on for about a week and then lingers for about the first 2-3 days is the big, and then still linger for some guys, and then. Of course, the draft, you have like the whole month of April, really the last 2 weeks of April is when you start to lead into it. And then, unfortunately, training camp rolls around and it's fun to see it. But then you're praying every day you get a notification that
no injury.
Yeah, no injury. I know your team was an injury bug this year. It wasn't from training camp. Just throughout the year you guys got hurt. But Chris will be joining us very shortly. He says he's on single dad duty and doc emergency. And, of course, like I said, Luke's still celebrating the wedding. So, once again, congratulations to Luke. But, Jake, let's talk about it real quick while Chris is catching in here. Liam Cohen, offensive coordinator from Tampa Bay Buccaneers, signed apparently this magical extension, got paid, got a raise, and then secretly meeting back with the Jaguars. So is it set up for Liam Cohen, the 1-year offensive coordinator for the Bucs, going to head out there just up the road to Duval County?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not official, but it's basically official. Like even the Bucs in the contract, they said, hey, we're going to give you this much. We're going to make you one of the highest paid coordinators, but you don't take that second interview with the Jaguars. Like that was in it, like they were saying, you don't do the interview. And obviously he snuck off. He goes to them and snuck off and has been in Jacksonville all day. So, I mean, I think that relationship's we're just burned at this point.
I like the move though. I like the potential move.
Yeah. I mean, from the rumors that are coming out, they're going to pay him Ben Johnson money and let him pick his GM.
Yeah, because they just fired Balky literally, I think it was yesterday or the day before. So, yeah, Balky's out the door, which is crazy because Ben Johnson didn't want Balky. And then I guess they wanted Cohen all along. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. I think that was their number one target. But he said, I don't want, Balky. And I think they were hesitant to fire him. And they finally said, all right, he's got to go.
And I would say for Liam Cohen, he's only 1 year with the team. Obviously, Baker was kind of saved with Dave Canales, which was good for Baker. But like having Buck Irving as a rookie, you lose Chris Godwin in the middle of the season. Jalen McMillan, you have as a rookie, you kind of got him involved once Godwin got hurt. So I felt like the offense was kind of running on pretty good cylinders, even with all the stuff that happened with injuries and the rookie receiver, rookie running back. And Rachaad White kind of took a step back, but Bucky definitely picked up the load there. So I felt like Liam Cohen in his 1 year was a pretty good coordinator. I think rightfully so. He's one of the hotter candidates, honestly, outside Ben Johnson to get a job. And I think he will help with Trevor Lawrence too. I think Trevor Lawrence could maybe thrive and maybe get back to who Trevor Lawrence should be. And that, that generational talent that everyone thought he was.
Yeah. I think they're going to be patient with him. I don't even know if we know too much about him. Yes, he had a great year with the Bucs for sure. I mean, absolutely. Bucs were, before Godwin got hurt, they were dominating team. And they were scoring, 30, 40 points a game. They looked really good for sure. Offense looked great. Baker looked more comfortable than we've ever seen him. But it is a 1 year sample, and he is going into a team that's not as loaded as the Bucs. So I mean, he's got to be patient with them. And I mean, as Jags owner has as we've seen, he is patient though. I mean, he should have. So he'll give him his time. I think it could be good. I don't think a lot of teams were even after him though. Did he interview with anybody else besides the Jags?
I didn't see his name floating around besides outside Jack.
Oh.
I feel like the Duval County was the only spot that truly was interested. Not saying he didn't get interviews, but it's insiders. It seemed like the Jags were dead set on him and Robert Saleh, which if Pierre Saleh is going to go back to your team, it looks like the 49ers. So that's what the rumor's been going around there too. So, I mean, the Jags have question marks. What are they going to do with Etienne? What are they going to do with the receiver position? Obviously, they have Brian Thomas, but you have Kirk, who's been banged up the last couple of years. Do you go get like a T. Higgins or Chris Godwin to bring in with Trevor Lawrence? Things like that. You have Evan Ingram, who was nicked up this year. O-line questions and cornerback position too. Like the Jags have question marks, but I feel like they can figure out new GM and obviously new coach coming in. So, no, Jake, that was just want to talk about that before Chris came in. But hey, let's jump into Sunday. Sunday, it's the first game on the docket. Fox. We're going to hear Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady. By the way, not been a big Tom Brady guy commentating this year. Just the few sample sizes I've heard of Tom Brady, have not been a fan of him. He just seems kind of like it just seems like he's slower. Like he's not. I'm not saying he doesn't know the game. He obviously knows the game pretty well. It just seems like a slower pace, not like a Greg Olsen or Tony Romo were like very quick witted. But besides that, the game itself: Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Terry McLaurin, Saquon Barkley, Nick Sirianni, Dan Campbell. Like, I'm sorry, Dan Quinn. Sorry, this game right here. Yeah, I'm sorry, wrong Dan. Jake, what is some of the storylines you're looking at? Remember, both teams won the home games. Philly won Thursday night in Philly. Week 16, Washington won 36-33, I believe was the score in Landover, Maryland. Late comeback by Jane Daniels himself. So what storylines are you looking at for this game?
The Bane one I'm looking at is the part of the same one all America is looking at, man. This rookie. Like, nobody had Washington where they're at. I mean, I don't care who you are. Nobody had Washington in the NFC Championship game after they were in a rebuild season and just drafted a quarterback. Nobody had him here. I mean,
nobody had them in second place in the NFC East.
No, not at all. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, if he goes to the Super Bowl, I mean, and God forbid wins it, that storyline is insane. But even
put him in the Hall of Fame already. Like, I mean, just it's crazy. No rookie quarterbacks played in the Super Bowl. We've seen a couple come close. We've seen Flacco. We saw Mark Sanchez come. Big Ben was close. We've seen it. Yeah. But those guys didn't play at this level neither, though. That's the thing.
That's what I was about to say. It's not like his team's carrying him. Like, this dude is balling.
No, he's carrying. He's carrying them.
So I mean, it's insane. Like, for this rookie to be playing the way he is, the poise that he's got, it's phenomenal. Go ahead.
I was going to say the thing about Philly too. I say it every single time. Going into Philly, very tough place, very tough environment. I mean, it is one of the hardest stadiums to play in. It's not a true night game, but it is a standalone playoff game. It's going to float into the evening time by the time the game's done. So it's going to be good to see. I mean, we've seen them play in Philly. They kind of struggled. It was close until the fourth quarter, and then Philly kind of pulled away. But he didn't play a spectacular game against the Eagles the first time around. The second time around, yes, Jalen Hurts got hurt, and that's my other storyline is Jalen Hurts. If the Commanders stop the run, which what they did against Saquon Barkley, and like I said, I know it wasn't Jalen Hurts in the second half. Can Jalen Hurts do what he did a couple playoff years ago, where he honestly was one of the best players in the NFL that year, that MVP-like season? Can he go back to that? Can A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and those guys get on the same system with Jalen Hurts? Because they're going to need to throw the ball more than 15 times potentially this game. They haven't asked Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. And if the Commanders' D-line and linebackers can key in, Jake, on Saquon and limit him, I'm not saying shut him down completely, but limit him and force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball, can Jalen Hurts answer that question for us? In
my opinion, no. If Washington, if that's their game plan, they go in, and obviously you're not going to stop Saquon. Like you said, you're going to limit Saquon to, not 200 freaking yards. But if you limit Saquon and make Jalen Hurts beat you, that's going to be the key to the game for Washington.
I'm trying to think. Well, Jahmyr Gibbs had a great – so Jahmyr Gibbs was running all over the Commanders. It's just the fact that the Commanders got up at the point they got up so much that they couldn't run Jahmyr Gibbs so heavy. They need to get ahead of the Eagles quick. I'm not going to lie. If they win the coin toss, get the ball first. I would say take the ball first. Don't
I agree.
set the tone yourselves. Try and play ahead the whole time and maybe make a stop or two. And then, okay, even if the Eagles get the ball at the end of the half, maybe they're only down a touchdown. And then the worst case, it's tied or you're down by 4 points, something like that. Take the ball first. Let Jane Daniels, I know a hostile environment, but set the tone early. Do not let Philly – they're capable, like Doc was saying yesterday, they're capable of running 10, 12-minute drives and tiring your defense out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Eagles do. Like they'll do these quick little plays or these little short little plays and then push on 3rd and 4th down, drain the clock, tire you. That's what they're capable of doing. So but I do want to see Jalen Hurts throw the ball. And that's kind of why I don't want to see the Eagles in the Super Bowls because they're not throwing it. Like I get it.
No.
It's working. It's working for me. It's not exciting to me. It's not exciting to me as a fan of the game.
Plus, we all hate Eagles fans, so.
Not all Eagles fans are the worst. I hang out with a couple when I go to New Jersey. But yes, the totality of Eagles fans, been to a couple games, Jake, out there. You should try it one time.
I want to really bad.
It's I went there for a Vikings-Eagles game in the 2016 season when the Vikings got Sam Bradford right after the Eagles had him. And man, it was I was wearing a Falcons hoodie and a Falcons jersey, and I got cussed out for just having that on. They were threatening Vikings fans saying they can't piss in the porta potties. It was rough, man. It was a rough time, and it's fun though. Don't get me wrong. Philly games. I've been to the Phillies, been to the Flyers, been to didn't go to the Sixers, but and of course been to the Eagles. So it's very fun. But yeah, Jake, this game right here, man. I like Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn's a better coach than Nick Sirianni. Personally, I mean, maybe I'm a little biased because of the Falcons days, but the fact with what Dan Quinn has. Right, like we said, not just Jane Daniels. I mean, yes, he drafted Jane Daniels, but Terry McLaurin. I mean, your other receivers are Damani Brown and Zacchaeus.
Yeah,
I mean, and old Zach Ertz.
Brown looked good last week.
He's looked good the last few weeks. Honestly, they've been using him. I think he was the leading receiver. But then you have Scary Terry and this defense led by Bobby Wagner and Frank Louvu and guys like that. I don't know, man. Jake, I have that feeling that they might win this game, but.
I'm pulling.
I do.
I want him to win, but I can't. I wouldn't bet against him in Philly. I wouldn't bet against Philly in Philly, but I want Washington to win bad.
I think if Daniels can throw for 300 plus and have a turnover-free game, and Brian Robinson can just get a little bit of momentum going, maybe 75, 80 plus rushing yards, I feel like the Commanders can do it. I mean. We're going to talk about controlling the clock with the next game, but control the clock. Let you control the clock against Philly and stop the run, and they might have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, like you said a few minutes ago, they got to be ahead. You got to put the ball in Hurts' hand and make him try to beat you. Because if you're playing down, they're just going to throw Saquon down your throat. Washington's got to get a lead early and make Hurts try to do some plays.
Because I think Saquon's the second game he had over 200 yards, I believe. The first game he could have had 200 yards, but he took the knee to run the clock out. So he could easily have 200 plus. Obviously, offensive player of the year candidate, MVP candidate. So he's, I believe, going to win one of those awards.
I think he needs 100-something yards for most ever total yards for a season or something.
Yeah, I mean that's still crazy. Saquon's been on a mission, man. Daniel, like you said, Daniel's. I'm also rooting for him too because I have some Commanders family, I have Commanders friends, and I had Daniels on fantasy this year. He led my team this year in fantasy.
I wish we had the Baltimore and versus Washington Super Bowl, but I had the whole, Maryland, Washington.
No. We as this podcast could not handle a Ravens Super Bowl with Luke in the show.
For that reason, yes. But for the state type, Baltimore.
Yeah. Battle of the Beltway. That'd be fun. So Jake, it's time though. I mean, like I said, Sunday at 3 p.m. We're getting this game on Fox. When it's all said and done. The NFC Championship, the Washington Commanders, the Philadelphia Eagles, who is going to win the NFC and head their way to New Orleans to play in the Super Bowl?
Let's go Commanders.
Is that who you got winning, though, or is that who you want to win?
Forget it. I'm going Commanders. I want Commanders, yes. That's who I got winning.
I want the Commanders to win. I believe they can win, but playing in Philly, playing against this defense, very, very good defense, in my opinion. Shout out to Vic Fangio for turning around. Kellen Moore having a good game plan. Saquon. I think if they do ask Jalen Hurts to put the ball in his hands, I believe he can do it. Jake, I'm going the Eagles here, 34-27. Unfortunately, fly, Philly, fly, but I am rooting for the Washington Commanders. I really want.
Me too.
I really want Washington to go in there.
I almost want
we've-
to bet with Philly just to try to jinx them.
We've never seen, I mean, our lifetimes, we've never seen the Washington dynasty, the Washington franchise, back to when they were the Redskins, back to when they were the football team, and now as the Commanders. We've never seen them in the Super Bowl. We've never seen them in the NFC Championship.
And they got a huge window. I mean, Daniels is not going to get paid for a few years. Like they can get some players this offseason, you know, I mean, if they don't win. And I mean, they're only going to get better. Like it's going to be exciting for Commanders for sure.
I agree with you, Jake, on that one. But hey, let's move on to Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. And this is, of course, what everyone's going to be waiting for.
Yeah.
It's Josh Allen. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs for the fourth time in 5 years. 2020 AFC Championship, 2021 AFC Divisional Round, 2023 AFC Divisional Round, and now 2024 our AFC Championship. Jake, once again, what storylines are we looking for here with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and these two teams that know each other so well?
I mean, the whole game itself is a storyline. I mean, this is just it's
legacies being written.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rivalry. I mean, you got Chiefs win. I mean, you got Mahomes going in the serious GOAT conversation. I mean, if he goes and three-peats it, I mean, it's insane.
I say he's the GOAT. If he three-peats, I know Allen's not going to like the take if he goes back and watches this, and I know we will talk about it if it happens. If Patrick Mahomes three-peats, he's the GOAT.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that. I mean, at this point, like,
because no one's ever done it. No one's ever done it. It's not just about Tom Brady. No quarterback, no NFL team has ever done it. So, I
mean, and it'd be four Super Bowls already for him?
4 in his first 7 years as a starter. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 in his first 8 years, but 4 in his first 7 years as a starter.
Yeah. And you can't even say that it was stacked teams because, like, last year his team had no business being in the Super Bowl.
Lost Rashee Rice this year.
I know. I mean, so it's not like you could just say, "Oh, he's so talented. He meant to be there." No, nobody even going into the playoffs last year. Everybody said, "Oh, KC's not going."
15-2 this year. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Kelsey's woken up too. I mean, Kelsey looked good.
Yeah, I mean that's playoffs. Playoffs, they show up. I mean.
And it's not even just Mahomes too, Jake. It's the legacy of Josh Allen being written here. I mean,
we were just starting with the one half first. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, legacy. I believe yes, Patrick Mahomes would love this because it solidifies himself as a GOAT conversation. But this helps Patrick or Josh Allen so much more because he plays so good in the playoffs. He's arguably one of the best playoff quarterbacks in today's era of quarterbacks that's playing at the moment. He just can't beat Patrick Mahomes, and of course the 1 year against Joe Burrow, and of course Deshaun Watson back. That was when his second year in the league, so we'll understand that one. But you can't beat Mahomes 3 out of the 4 times of this decade or this current decade of 2020. So, and they beat in the regular season every time for the most part. So it's like they know each other so well, Jake, and it's just like something happens. 2021, 13 seconds. I mean, what does Josh Allen need to do? Score with 1 second left. I mean, he did his job. I mean, he took the lead with 13 seconds.
What did Mahomes say Josh Allen's biggest fear was? A coin toss?
A coin flip, yeah. And then last year, there was 2 drops by Shakir and by Stephon Diggs, deep passes that Josh Allen put them right in their hands. I mean, I don't know more you to do. These two go neck and neck. The one doesn't necessarily outperform the other. They both duel each other to the wire. And besides the 2020 NFC Championship, that was kind of strictly Mahomes in general. I mean, that was a Mahomes-led Chiefs team. I'll give that one to him. But
yeah.
This game, Jake, too, we're talking about controlling the clock. I think Buffalo needs to control the clock. They need to keep Mahomes off the field and play what they did against the Ravens. Turnover free. Don't give Mahomes opportunities like Lamar gave the Bills. Do not do that.
I agree. I mean, Buffalo's got to have the ball, and they got to have the ball at the end. I mean, you can't give Mahomes any time. I mean, it's like back in the day when you said Rodgers, you don't give Rodgers no time. Anything under 2 minutes, it's still enough time for Rodgers. It's the same thing. You don't get Mahomes and Kelsey no time at the end of the game. Like, you got to be up. But I don't even think it's going to come down to the 2 quarterbacks. Like, I think we know what we're going to expect from those 2. It's going to be it's going to be who we don't expect, or a player that shows up. Like Brown did for the Commanders. Like, it's going to be who's going to show up that's not expected. That's going to lead their team. I mean, Kelsey's going to have his. But they're going to it could be a defensive player, it could be an offensive player, but someone's got to show up big that we're not expecting.
was big last game. Finally, after so many weeks of finally playing it, Matt Milano was pretty big last week for the Buffalo Bills. That's the Matt Milano before the injuries the last couple of seasons that we all knew. I mean, Matt Milano is, in my opinion, he's one of the most underrated linebackers in the NFL. Jake, you were talking about guys that might not come out of nowhere. A guy that is a star that I believe they don't use to their full, they don't use early enough. They kind of ride him late in the game. James Cook needs to be the guy. He needs to be the catalyst. It's got to be. I know that they're loving Johnson. Mm-hmm. I know Ray Davis gets some playing time, but James Cook needs to be that guy this week. He's one of the better running backs, in my opinion. He's a top 10 running back of the NFL. Pacheco, too. It's going to be interesting. The run game hasn't been that big for the Kansas City Chiefs. So,
not at all.
Can the run game be the difference of these two teams? That's something I'm looking at, too, is right there is the running backs.
I would trust Buffalo's run game over Kansas City's right now, honestly. And Buffalo's rush defense over Kansas City's right now.
Well, I would say that Joe Brady is using the running backs more than Andy Reid's using the running backs for their offenses, respectively. And then, I mean, but like you said, it's the playoffs. We know what we're going to get between Josh and Patrick. I mean,
exactly.
That's the main storyline, obviously. But Sean McDermott, Andy Reid, too. Sean McDermott was on the Eagles staff back when Andy Reid was the coach there. So these two coaches know each other really, really well. Jake, man, this game, man, I have not been – and, of course, everyone's going to say the refs, but the refs haven't really been an issue with the Bills and Chiefs games. They actually haven't. Now, other playoff games, yes, people will criticize, but no one's ever really criticized about the stripes against these two teams together. So I don't know if they're going to be an issue. I think the NFL is okay with Patrick.
I hope they're not an issue.
Man, I'm nervous just talking about this game, man. You guys, I mean, you know how I feel about Josh Allen, and I've been rooting for the Bills since going to the 2020 season, man. When they got Stephon, I said Bills Super Bowl against the Saints that year, and both teams got very close. The Bills got to the – and everyone thought it was crazy too. They're like, what's this guy on right now? I mean, I was like, I just watching Josh Allen in 2019, saw the progression of his rookie season to his second season. I loved what I saw, and I was like, and he's been one of the best. In my opinion, he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, Mahomes is one. I'm not going to argue that. I think Josh Allen's number two. And I know you guys I know Allen's come to my side lately. I know you guys all have problems with turnovers, but man, this year he's not been turning the ball over.
No, he's good. He's playing great. And he needs this win. I mean, he needs the next one after it, but because then you put him over Burrow, you put him over Lamar, you put him over some of these other quarterbacks with the ring. But no, he's playing great. And he's having fun. I remember he took a shot at, Stephon Diggs earlier in the year about, no drama, wide receivers or whatnot. But they're just having fun out there. Great team. I'm excited.
We're talking about guys, too. I was just thinking about Amari Cooper. This could be an Amari Cooper kind of game. We haven't seen much of him, but this could be that game where they need someone to show up on the road. Maybe I know Shakir's been his number one this year. Shakir's been really good. He's been really good this year.
He could be one of those players that we said someone needs to stand out. It could be Amari Cooper.
Could be one of the tight ends too. Kincaid. I feel like one of those guys is due. Kincaid, Cooper, Knox. One of them is due.
Somebody. I know.
But I don't think Josh has a problem. Like we were talking about last night. I don't know how much you watched, but we were talking about how the Bills against the Ravens, they took what was given in front of them. They didn't have to throw 30, 40-yard passes. Josh took what was in front of them with the short passes. The run game was there. Obviously, no passing touchdowns, but 2 rushing touchdowns. I don't know how bad the weather's going to be in Kansas City this weekend, but I think that
Josh Allen's great in the cold weather, though. So, that's not going to be an issue.
I don't think the location. I was talking about it in my office today. I don't think wherever this game is played, it's not going to affect either of these two teams because Buffalo knows how it is to play in Kansas City, and Kansas City went to Buffalo last year and beat them. So these two teams, I don't care if it's played in the backyard, Walmart parking lot. I think what was that? That was the thing where they said about put us in the Walmart parking lot. It was what Travis Kelce said. I don't know who he was talking about, but that's kind of what it is. That they could play anywhere, and these two teams would not have a problem with it. No, obviously having home field advantage is key.
Yeah, you still got the fans, you got the audibles, you can hear your plays, obviously the home field advantage stuff, yes. But weather and all that, I don't think that's going to play, help either one.
But Jake, like I said, this game right here, man, this is the game. Is Josh Allen going to take the shit, or is he going to be given the shit? So, Jay, AFC Championship this Sunday. Bills, Chiefs, who wins?
Hot take. I got a blowout. Buffalo's blowing them out.
I have the Buffalo Bills walk-off field goal, 27-24 by Tyler Bass. Josh Allen will lead them on a game-winning drive after Patrick Mahomes takes the lead with less than a minute left. Josh Allen gets them in field goal range, and Tyler Bass hits a walk-off field goal to send them into New Orleans to face the winner of the NFC. Give me the Buffalo Bills.
Give me the Buffalo Bills.
That's what we want, and I think it's going to happen. My Super Bowl prediction's all shot now because the Lions lost, so Lions Chiefs can't happen. So I'm okay with the whole Super Bowl getting done. I'm good.
Did I have Chiefs?
You had Chiefs Niners.
Oh, so we both still got one possibility.
Yeah, but I mean, my winner was with the Lions, so it's.
Oh yeah.
Speaking
Mine
of
was the
Lions,
Niners.
Jake, you've been waiting to do a take right now, and I don't mind giving you a few minutes of glory here to talk about Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions.
How about them Lions? The Lions, yeah. The Lions issue is a big one. It is Jared Goff. All you guys, all these fanboys of Jared Goff have been pretty quiet after this loss. You guys were pretty adamant last week about how great he was, but he cost him that game. He had some terrible throws, some terrible decisions. You put the ball in his hands, he's going to fail. The issue is Jared Goff. I'm sorry, Lions fans, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff as your quarterback. And I stand here firm on that.
Man, so Brandon Patterson says you should have bet on those Commanders. I couldn't do it. I mean, as much as I want them to win for you, I couldn't do it. I'm rooting for the Lions. And then, VR Nelson says pretty quiet. Yeah, the Lions been pretty quiet, Jake. I was don't get me wrong. I was rooting for him too. But Jared Goff made some terrible throws. The two interceptions were he had Sam Laporte underneath wide open for a first down, one to go to Tim Patrick in a tight coverage, and then the throw in the end zone was late. It was super late, and what super late means it's gonna be very underthrown, and that's what happened. The cornerback caught up, and you had a chance to cut the lead there to within 3 points going in the half, and that could have been very crucial. Could have changed the whole dynamic of the game.
Yeah, it's the same as Niners Brock Purdy. Like, I mean, Purdy is not elite. Let's not even front and say Purdy is elite. He's got an elite team. He's got elite players around him. Is he a decent quarterback? Yes. Can he throw the ball? Yes. I mean, we're not talking top 5 quarterback or nothing, but he's got stars around him. He makes the plays. He's going to get the yards. Same with Jared Goff. He's got a loaded offense. He's got a good run game. It's going to open up the pass. He's going to get his passing yards. So everyone that's saying, oh, he had 3,500 yards. Yeah, okay, Purdy's got those numbers. Are we saying Purdy's elite? No. Purdy went to a Super Bowl. Are we still saying he's elite? No. He's got good players around him. Those are numbers we expect.
Now, I mean, I will say, like, I get Jared Goff is who he is. I didn't think that and this is no disrespect towards the Commanders, I didn't think they were going to lose to the Commanders. I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to lose to the Commanders. I thought the game would have been maybe the Eagles or the Super Bowl. That was the game that everyone expected them to lose to, like, in that moment there. And the Commanders, their defense played pretty good. I get it. They gave up 31 points. That's a lot, but still the Detroit Lions, like, that's their average. You gave up the average of what the Detroit Lions score. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you gave up 31 points, that's not bad, but you had 3 turnovers. Or actually, you had 4 turnovers. Actually, I think it was 5, if I'm not mistaken. I know that Goff had the 2 interceptions and the fumble. That fumble was terrible. And then Ben Johnson, don't know what you're doing down 10 points in the fourth quarter, and you're letting your receiver throw the ball. That's where all the cute plays worked the whole game, but that I wouldn't have tried that. I would have tried another cute play, but that not a wide receiver pass on, in the fourth quarter down 10 points. That was just a loser move.
Same old Lions. I mean, it was the year before then, those 4th down plays. I mean, it cost them stupid decisions going for those 4th downs. They're always, I mean, it's the Lions. What are you going to do?
And something about those Dans, by the way, because Dan Quinn has been doing what Dan Campbell has been doing lately. He's been going for a 4th down, but them going for a 4th down, they know.
But they had to. I mean, you had to keep up with the Lions.
And the Bucs too. Even the Bucs game, you had to go for a 4th down.
2 high-scoring offenses.
Yeah, 2 high-scoring. And the Eagles too. You might have to do it against the Eagles because you might not get many opportunities because we mentioned the running game. If that running game's very impactful, they're gonna have to go for a 4th down because you can't beat the Eagles by scoring field goals. That's just the way it goes. And
especially if the Eagles are doing like 12-minute drives, if they're running over your throat, you can't. You're gonna have to keep the ball as much as you can. You got to score.
Yeah, Jake, man, we can't wait to be back here next. I'm hoping to get back Monday. That's still the day after the championship weekend. Let's keep it fresh. And man, this weekend right here, man, the Commanders. No one expected them to be here for this show. To be honest, no one expected the Eagles to be here on the show neither, and no one had the Bills this far. Really, maybe Allen, but I know a lot of you guys had Bills top 10 draft pick. You guys are all hating on them going the regular season, but they proved it. Everyone did. Everyone did. I had them winning, I think, one playoff game, and that was it.
Yeah, you still have them in the playoffs. Yeah.
I'll always have Josh Allen in the playoffs. It's just I always find a way to get them in there. It's just the way he's my favorite player in the NFL, and unfortunately, he's not a Falcon. I wish. Well, him and Bijan. Bijan's kind of creeping up because he's a Longhorn too, but I love watching Josh Allen just purely play the game. It's something that I like watching. It's like Peyton Manning back in the Colts. Peyton Manning was my favorite player that was not on the Falcons. Used to love watching them play. But Jake, man, we have an exciting weekend, man. I know you're going to be glued to the TV. You're going to be glued to the couch, and you're ready for these games just as much as I am. So good luck to the teams. Good luck to the 4 fan bases. But go Commanders and go Bills. For us fans that aren't on a team in there, please go. Please win.
Please, Commanders, for sure. Goodness gracious.
I'm okay with the Chiefs going because I'm okay with someone topping Tom Brady's GOAT status. I'm okay with that.
I'm tired of the Swifties too, so I want the Chiefs out too.
I feel like the Swifties haven't been that loud this year.
No, they haven't. They haven't. I mean, the viewers have though, because I mean, they just set a record. It was the most watched football game on ESPN ever last week. 32 million or something.
Let's be honest. If we were in the NFL, we'd be doing the same thing. We'd be marketing her and showing her too. It's just the way it goes. I mean,
yeah, for sure. You get a whole new fan base by that. I agree. I mean, they're not doing nothing wrong.
No. It's just it gets annoying, but I don't care honestly.
Yeah, annoying to us fans that were already fans. Yeah, for sure.
No, I mean, but Jake, these 2 games, I think they're gonna be good. I think they're gonna be entertaining games. I know you have a blowout for the Bills, but I think both these games will be good, and we'll be in the Discord for sure, being loud and critiquing some things probably if the refs are out of control. We'll talk refs, but this is the one game I will bash the refs. I know I haven't done it all year, but I'll bash the refs this game because of Josh. But Jake, man, thanks for being here tonight. Shout out to Chris and Luke, Alan, and Doc as well. This is All About the Balls podcast. We'll be back next week to recap this and start talking Super Bowl, start talking maybe even the Pro Bowl. Just kidding, we're not going to do that. This is All About the Balls podcast. Have a great night and have a good weekend.
Peace out, guys.